Domino, motherfuckers, what's happening?
All right, so back up in this thing for another one. This is Connecticut's most controversial podcast. This is the Domino Effect, and as always, I go by the name of Domino. Appreciate, over the years, you kind of know my love for music and specifically hip hop. If you've also been listening to the show, kind of know my gripe with like local rappers and music as is, but that's kind of for like another day. The guests I have today are some brothers that did it right and on a major scale, but also fell victim to industry rule 4080. Record company people is shady, right? Find out about them so late in the game. I'm kind of disappointed in myself. A group often forgot about when hip hop tends to talk about groups in the 80s that have kind of shaped this thing we call hip hop, which is kind of fucked up, but I get it. But we'll talk about it. So basically, I'm here to give these brothers their flowers, scream their accomplishments and their accolades, to get their perspective on everything, from the day they started, I guess, up until now. So in the dojo today, I have Shock and Sean,
Peace.
and I have Superman Jay.
Yes, sir.
Motherfucking Bridgeport hometown heroes.
You know it.
The Skinny Boys.
Come on now.
My brothers. How are you doing?
Oh, man, we alive and well.
Yes.
We alive and well.
That's great to hear, man. That's great to hear.
6 feet above dirt, another day for progress.
Another day.
Yes.
Another day above ground is always great.
No doubt about it.
So, I guess first I want to say congratulations on getting the key to the city.
Thank
we
you, man.
appreciate you,
that, man.
How was that accomplishment? Did that feel like a long time coming? Did you feel like a sense of relief? Like, oh,
Wow.
It's
Man. Go ahead, Wes.
it felt like a long time coming, but everything happens on God's time. So we remain humble, without a doubt. Nothing comes without humility. You have to have that. Especially in life, you have to have that because things can pass you by in an instant. And there's a lot of people that I know that in the industry, big names that
Not many people with our paint job have the key to the city,
indeed.
right.
And we could probably count with all of, on one hand, maybe two hands, on how many of us with this paint job have received a key, not to just Bridgeport City, but to really any city. So I'm honored to receive this key,
Very honored. Very.
but I'm also glad to have that key that was given, to me, by, the most, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Minister Farrakhan, for unlocking this here mindset of mine.
That's right.
Word.
So I'm glad to receive that key as well.
Mm.
And that's one of the keys that I got to keep on my chain because
At
that
all
continues.
times.
That key continues to open up the rusty locks.
I like it. 'Cause that's not a small accomplishment. Like, I feel like y'all kind of downplaying a little bit. I feel like that, like, for the people that y'all are and what y'all have done for hip hop and for the city, I feel like, do you feel like you get your proper respect for one within the city and two within the industry?
In the industry, yeah,
In the industry, yes.
big respect.
Okay.
From our comrades, big respect.
'Cause we
From
here-
the
we're here
fans,
for you.
from let's just say from this coast to the west coast to the UK. We get our respect, and that respect goes right back. I think just coming from Connecticut, to some they think it's a little different. To us, it's regular because the one connection we had to New York City, the home of hip hop, the Bronx,
Come on.
was my father lived in the Bronx, 169th and Webster. So we got to see some of the greats, coming up. The Cold Crush, the Fantastic Five,
Right.
Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. You can go on and name them for days.
Grand Wizard Theodore.
Yes. So we had that embedded in us, hip hop at an early age. So the respect from our comrades, from whoever you want to call it, whether it be Jalil, Ecstasy, rest in peace, of Houdini, Marky D, the Fat Boys, Big Daddy Kane, the respect has always been there.
Mark.
Those are people that we toured with.
Right. Heavy D and the boys.
Yes,
We
we lost a lot.
We lost a lot.
Definitely a lot.
Joski Love, shout out to you.
Yes.
Grand Pooba,
Mm.
Rozelle.
Damn, we did lose. Yeah.
So, well, we didn't lose Rozelle. He's still amongst
Oh,
us.
okay.
Yeah.
He's still amongst
We just
us.
lost Stud Doogie from Brand Nubian.
Mm. Rest in peace.
And definitely a rest in peace shout out to our brother, Steezo.
Mm.
And so, like, I heard you say, like, do we feel that we get downplayed? I just want to say, when you're home, and not too many people that are home even get their proper respect when they are home because, some of the people that you grew up with, well, I'm always going to be Sean to them.
Mm.
You're never going to be a star at home.
Yeah.
Never.
Right.
Although I look at them, every time I see them, I know I'm dead with Rakim at the rooftop. I can remember that
Roller rink, yes.
like it was yesterday.
Mm.
I can remember when we was at the Spectrum in Philadelphia.
Packed house.
And us and Heavy D. And
we
Big
had the
Daddy
number
Kane.
one record, the Jock Box.
Right.
Mm.
Number one record at the time.
And us and Heavy D and us was coming. We was traveling from like Colorado, Big Daddy Kane, and we went to the Spectrum. And I can remember the day when Heavy D borrowed my gold chain, my brother's gold chain, and Jock Box gold chain. I never forget that day. And he said, "Man, I love y'all for this, man." And so, Heavy D just has a special place in our heart.
Mm.
And the rest of the people in hip hop, regardless if you're from the old school or the new school,
Respect.
Know that the Skinny Boys has respect for you and mad love for you for operating in this here game called hip hop.
Right. So like I said at the beginning, I'm kind of disappointed that I found out about y'all so late. I found out about y'all when I was about like 20 something in like a weird ass way.
Okay.
Where it was like, I'm riding down the street
Right.
with my baby mama, right? And we passed by a good looking barbershop, right?
Come on.
And I guess you're outside. She was like, "Oh, that's Sean."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "Okay, who the hell is Sean?"
Right.
And she was like, "Oh, Sean used to date my sister."
Come on.
I was like, "Okay, cool." And she's like, "Nah, Sean was also like a big deal. He had like a rap group and all that." I was like, "Get the fuck out!" I'd have heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "Nah, he was like a big deal. Like he had a record deal and all that." I was like,
Right.
What's his group name? Like, "Oh, the Skinny Boys." You go home and do your Googles and stuff like that.
Yes.
I'm like, yo, how the hell have I grown up all these years with my uncles in hip hop, cousins in hip hop, all these people? I'm going to parties. I see White Flash, these places. Like, I don't hear no Skinny Boy records. Right. Ain't nobody mentioning y'all name. I'm like, yo, how did I just now hear about y'all? Just so happen to pass down the street and see Sean in the street. Like, how do I hear about y'all now? And like, that shit blew my mind. I was like, all the shit that they've done, 3 major album releases,
right?
Just tearing up Bridgeport in the 80s, across the country in the 80s, performing down south all over the place in the 80s, just getting their name out there. I'm like, how the hell have I never heard of them? And then when you looking like the record books of hip hop, like they don't like to mention y'all type of thing. Now, do you have an inkling as to why they don't mention y'all as much as they should?
Where are you talking? Are you talking like locally or just in the hip hop?
Just like
industry?
because I hear the Fat Boys all the time. I hear like the 3-man groups. Like I hear the Run DMC. Like I hear about all these other groups from New York. Right. But I don't know if Connecticut has always had that stigma of like things don't really come from here that are like noteworthy type of thing. Like you always hear about people from New Jersey,
from
New
the
York.
Start. You know what? From the start, and not to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
A lot of people thought we were from New York. Then you had those that thought we were from Philly. So, with that being said, we would hear a lot of the names that you just mentioned, but always in the background, somebody always said, "Don't forget the Skinny Boys." They would always say somewhere along the line. I mean, and to attest to all that, you mentioned people like Nas, and he mentions us in the record. Where are they now? So to some people, it was like the first time them ever hearing someone mention us. But then they had also Q-Tip mention us because we were labeled on the same label as, Tribe Called Quest.
Right.
So it's like, the respect is there, but at the same time, everyone's trying to do their own thing.
Right,
Like
yeah,
WD
yeah.
says,
Mm.
So that's where it's at. Everyone's trying to do their own thing, and if you ain't around, don't expect too much notoriety coming out of that.
Right.
And shout out to our label mates. Going
Yes.
back to Warlock Records, the Jungle Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The rock and roll band Kiss.
Kiss. Yes.
Janet Jackson, all the way to MC Search.
Right.
Shout out to our label mates on Jive, RCA Records, Tribe Called Quest,
KRS-One,
High Five,
Cool Mo D,
Houdini,
Steady B.
Billy Ocean,
I mean the
Lily
list.
Jackson,
Jazzy Jeff, Fresh Prince.
Roster is crazy.
We always say we stood right next to Def Jam.
Mm.
With our roster, we stood right next to Def Jam. Def Jam might have been 1A. If they're 1A, then we're B. Right next to them.
And so I think a lot of people too, sometimes they get caught up in their own inordinancy. And they don't want to give props to no one else.
No.
So
it's taking shine away from themselves.
They feel that
that's the way they feel. Yeah.
In a way, yeah.
And then you get a lot of people that are in not just Bridgeport, but you can go to KRS-One's hometown. You can go to Houdini's hometown. And you got some people that have not traveled out of the region.
Right.
Of their hometown.
Yeah.
Right.
You got some people that
don't like
is
to
in
leave
your
their block.
hometown. They haven't even been across town.
Right. Don't like to leave their block whatsoever.
Let me run this story. At a very young age, since we're speaking on that, I remember hearing a friend of ours named Artie and Money Mike from the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
My father was getting ready to take us down to Midtown. And when you hear someone say, yo, what's the bright lights like? What's that like? Manhattan. I'm like, we're looking like, what do you mean? Y'all ain't never been there. And my father said, some of these guys don't go out of the realm of their own building. That was sad to me because I said, here we are reaping the benefits of everything life has to offer. And all these guys know is that one building of theirs in the Bronx on Webster Ave. No further.
Right.
Sad.
Yeah, it's crazy. So let's take it back to the beginning, right?
Right.
So both of y'all born and raised in Bridgeport, right?
Yes.
Well, we were born
in New Haven.
In New Haven.
Yes. Birthplace, yes.
And then when did you move to Bridgeport?
I was 3. Sean was 1.
And did y'all move straight to Sunshine or?
We moved straight to Sunshine Circle. Before then, that's all we knew was Sunshine Circle up until let's just say when I was 16, Sean was 15, we moved to the Hollow.
Right.
But all our lives we know Sunshine Circle.
Right. Which is the weirdest shit for y'all who are listening, because I grew up on Sunshine Circle for like
your hood
20-some years of my life and had no clue that we had this type of connection. North End, exclusively Sunshine Circle, because it's a lot of niggas that don't know about Sunshine Circle.
Right.
Yeah. One of the members of Take 6
yes
also lived on Sunshine Circle.
That's crazy. Yo.
And so
find out we got history on that fucking street.
Yeah.
One of them actually lived in the house of the Lanham family.
Oh, okay.
On Sunshine Circle.
That was Mark.
Right.
Kibble.
Right.
Now, how was growing up in Bridgeport for y'all? Because the stories I hear ain't always the best about Bridgeport. Hollow, the Terrace, the Greens, Pequannock, all that.
Well, for the time that we grew up in Bridgeport, I mean, man, me and my brother and our cousins and stuff like that, we had dual citizenship in a lot of cities in Connecticut at the age of zip.
Right.
Especially in Bridgeport. We can go anywhere, no beef, no side of town.
Right.
No side of town was off limits to us. Even throughout Connecticut, no city, no town was off limits because we came with respect.
Mm.
And that's what it's about, coming with respect.
Right.
You know?
And so, like, Bridgeport being the city that it is, you know, the concrete jungle,
Mm.
you know, if you wanted to get into some trouble, you know where
You're
to
going to
find
find
it
it.
at.
That's right.
Right, definitely.
And if you wanted to stay out of harm's way, then you stay across the street,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But me, Superman Jay, and my cousin Jock, you know, we was blessed to be around the who's who
Mm.
Yes.
in Bridgeport. And, you know, we're not going to go through the drum roll of the names and everything
Right,
like
right.
that. But we came up amongst the bold, the bad, the ugly, and the good, the churchy, you
Mhm.
know, praying
Yes.
folks,
The whole gamut.
the whole gamut,
Yeah.
man. You know, and so, like I said, who's who, you know, that can be, you know, a bum in the street to a hustler
Mm.
to, you know, a teacher
Mm.
to, you know, to an average common person.
Right.
But we had love on every avenue,
There was always
you know.
eyes on everyone, no
Mm.
matter where you went. That's where the term comes from. It takes a village to raise a child.
Mm.
Because wherever you went, whoever saw you doing something, they beat that ass.
Definitely.
And then you got home and your parents knew about it
Mm-hmm.
because it was respect. That's what helped keep us in line.
Yeah.
Knowing that there were people looking out for us. Don't do that. You know your mom, your grandmother, your father wouldn't be proud of you
Mm.
doing this, so don't do that.
And for the people in Bridgeport, peace, peace, peace to P.T. Barnum.
Yes.
Peace to Pequanix. Peace to
The
Marina.
Greens. That's
the
right. Marina.
Marina Village.
Mm.
Marina Apartments.
Father Panic Village.
Father Panic.
Peace to
Mm.
CC Boulevard.
Mm.
Bearsley Terrace.
You know, peace to all the hoods.
Yes.
Stratford Ave. Newfield Park.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we just want to spread love because, like, Bridgeport is 6 degrees of separation, and really everyone is a big family.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm somewhat confused on the killing that takes place because it's so close.
Mm.
You know, so when you think about Bridgeport, you know, I mean, it's a big family that needs to be put back together again.
Mm.
You know, so but I'm glad to grow up in that
Mm.
because that's what shape and mold me,
Mm-hmm.
Jay and Jock, into the people that we are today.
Mm.
You know,
And thankful to still be alive
Right.
because we lost a lot.
A lot of people didn't make it.
a
lot.
lot of people didn't make it,
Right.
and we want to send condolences out to all those who have lost somebody in this dispensation of time.
Mm.
You know,
Definitely. Definitely.
that's for sure.
So now you guys were around for like the inception of hip hop and stuff like that. So when you first heard hip hop or whatever it was, like what did you think of it? Did you think it was something that was gonna catch on? Did you just think that was like, oh, this is something I hear and enjoy? Like, what did you think of it?
Starting out from the outset, Superman J,
Mm.
I came into it before seeing the block parties.
Mm.
But at the same time, we were like, what is this? Because it was kind of like confusing, like, okay, this is something new.
Mm.
My first album that I owned, my father bought for me, was Marvin Gaye, What's Going On, and Curtis Mayfield, the Curtis album.
Mm.
He bought Sean, the Buddy Miles album, and what else you had?
It was the group that sing themselves out of prison,
The Escorts.
the Escorts.
Mm.
Yeah.
So remember, at that time, there were no rap records out.
Right.
Everything was just raw, uncut, but it was pure.
Yeah.
And it was something just different and good to hear. Because I know for me, it drew me in. I said, this is what I want to do. Because I started out, as far as a musician, playing the accordion.
Mm.
Yeah.
Until someone said
It's
to
not
me,
common.
the Black Italian. And I said, no.
Yeah.
I said, Mom, I need to switch up. She said, oh, you're not quitting? I said, I'm not going to quit. But you're going to do something. I said, so, okay, I'll do the keyboard.
Mm.
Started playing the keyboard. From the keyboard, it was like we're still hearing all genres of music in that household on Sunshine Circle. Not to mention my late Uncle Ernie, who we call him Big Ernie.
Right.
He had a gospel group that used to practice at the house every Sunday. And then they would play in different churches, you know, different concerts. So imagine hearing all that every week, and then you go to the Bronx and you hear this, something new. And it's just gravitating to you. You're gravitating towards it. So it's like, wow, I gotta have this.
Blowing your mind.
Yes. Mind blower, without a doubt. I mean, when I tell you it was like a higher plane. You know, you wasn't used to hearing this, and you know, as you hear it, we're coming up. Thank God for Mr. Magic on WHBI, the Supreme Team, all these guys right here, because we heard that station. We fell upon that station, and we were catching it way up here in Bridgeport, Connecticut. 105.9 WHBI. They had the host, Jerry Bloodrock, who's hosting Mr. Magic, the Rap Attack show, and all this right here, you know. Listening to the Cold Crush Brothers live in Japan. Think about that.
Wow.
This is before, you know, a lot of this stuff took off in the wax. We're hearing this stuff, and it's live.
It's live.
How could you not want to do it? And it seems not so much so easy, but it seemed like something that everyone was going to latch on to, although we never thought it was going to be a $1 billion industry. We just looked at it as, I looked at it as a hobby, but I was also into DJing. So it went hand in hand.
Now, you started rapping before Sean.
Yes.
Now, do you remember your first rap?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Can you spit it, please?
Well, I'm the Jimmy J, the J-A-Y, the boy is bad, you can't deny. You float like a butterfly, you sting like a bee. You talk about Muhammad Ali. That was when we performed with the Funky Four. They came down to this church in Bridgeport in the basement, Mount Airy Church.
Right in the hollow.
Right.
My cousin Starchild and T-Bone, T-Bone and Starchild had rented this place out. And they had a brother named T.C. who knew Rodney C. and K.K. Rockwell in them. And that was my first introduction as far as performance-wise of hip-hop. Performing with one of the top tiers, because remember, I don't know if you heard it or not, but the Funky Four was the first group to be on TV.
Right.
No, I never knew that.
Soul Train. Right. They was on Soul Train first.
Now, how old were you when you did that?
Wow, probably 15.
15.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you said that you knew that this was something that you wanted to do for the rest of your life or just for the foreseeable future. Now, when do you start to take it serious? Like you start to form a group, you performing more and things like that?
When I linked up with, first of all, Starchild and T-Bone. Now, rest in peace to my mentor on the turntables, DJ Kimball, who they call Grandmaster Bo.
Grandmaster Bo.
He's the one who taught me how to DJ. Starchild and T-Bone brought me to the forefront as far as performing-wise. So when I say I learned from the best of the best, I learned from the best of the best. Because they were the ones that were popping back then. As far as group, I linked up with a brother named Pete, who we now know as ELD from Three the Hard Way.
Yeah.
Me and him were great friends, you know. So we formed a group with the two brothers, known as Boogie Man and Cool Rap.
Right.
Before you know it, White Flash is with us. And we had basically, I mean, wasn't the first rap group in Connecticut.
Right.
Because you had the Cooliac Def Crew.
Right.
They had LOD before that. Pete was with Cooliac Def Crew. White Flash was on his own. You had Star Child and T-Bone, Butchie B in the Chili Chill Nation.
Mm.
You know, these guys, I mean, they're from, and these guys, Butchie B and the Chili Chill Nation, were right from the Terrace, Building 7.
Building 7.
So they were right in your midst.
Right. Now, was this Superior Crush?
Superior Crush came later on.
That was later. Okay.
Yeah, it came later on. We were twice as nice.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And that was all of us together. Me, ELD, White Flash, B Bad Boogie, Triple C.
Mm.
That was all of us together. Sean and a brother named City O, they were just the Chill Brothers, right along with, God rest his soul, my brother Tislam.
Peace to the God.
Tislam was out of Brooklyn, 5%er. So that was also some of Sean's pathway to the Nation of Islam, building with that brother. But that was all one big group, and I guess some way, shape, or form, the group kind of disbanded, but we were still being booked by a promoter named Arthur Armstrong out of the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
He would always book us here and there. All of a sudden, we split up. And not 3 to Hardway, sorry about that. B Bad Boogie and Cool Rap, better known as Triple C, became the Tough 2 MCs. Me, White Flash, ELD, Sean, and City O became known as the Superior Crush MCs. We go on, we're performing now. Sooner or later, White Flash goes on with the Tough 2 MCs. Everyone else is like, well, what are y'all doing? Y'all all split up. At that time, the Superior Crush, we became one of the hottest groups, amateur groups in Connecticut.
Right.
We were being booked from, let's just say Armstrong would book us from Boston all the way down to Philadelphia. And that's just as an amateur group. Now, Armstrong, when I say Arthur Armstrong, anyone that's in the industry from the Bronx to Harlem to Brooklyn, they all know about this promoter.
Right.
There was really a few top tier promoters like himself. You had Smalls Entertainment.
Right.
You also had Steve Love. It was quite a few, but Armstrong was a heavyweight. He was booking shows from, like I said, from Boston all the way to Philadelphia. Somehow he took a liking to us because he said, I book you guys because they want to hear who's on the tapes. They like what they hear, who's on those tapes.
Right.
So we would perform and place after place. I mean, I think some of the more memorable shows was the Fat Boys come out, and they were known as the Disco 3.
Right.
Disco 3, yep.
And we were Superior Crush then.
Yes.
All
of a sudden, we go to the Village one day to go check out my cousin Jock. This kid starts beatboxing.
And you didn't know that beforehand? That he did
No. Now, this is my first cousin.
Right.
My mother's sister's son.
Right.
When I tell you, he had them all down packed. Dougie Fresh, Buffy. He had them all down.
And he even came out with his own sound.
Yes. We brought Jock to Stratford Roller Park with us. The Fat Boys were playing there that night, the Disco 3 at that time. A little nervous, but he calmed down. He got it together. Jock tore that place down with us.
Tore it down.
The following week, guess where we are? We're at New Haven at the Melibus Club, once again with the Disco 3.
Club Melibus.
We tore, when I say we tore the frame out that place, and not to say that we were trying to outdo the Disco 3 because they had a record out, of course. It was the main event. But we kept people talking.
It's facts.
We kept them talking. I mean, from the outset, all you heard was the Superior Crush, and then they say, okay, they got the Jock Box.
Right.
We gave him that name, the Jock Box, because his name is Jock.
Jock, yeah.
it's amazing how things take a path. You know, it really is. It's
just,
amazing.
Just falls into place, just like
yes,
that.
yes.
Falls into place, man.
You know, just like yourself, being from our hood,
right?
You know, at a later point in time, you coming from our hood, but that's amazing.
That blew my
and
mind.
you're here interviewing us,
right? It's crazy.
And they had other local acts.
Yes.
I forgot Shane Bowens and those group that they had together.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You had the Strike Force.
Strike Force MCs.
Out
Yes.
of Bridgeport. I forgot Troy and his brother. They had a group out of Pequanix.
Yes.
You had man.
There was a plethora of groups. I mean,
you had Big Platinum even had a group.
Yes.
You had Slick Vic. I mean, there was a lot of like pop up groups then.
Yeah.
Local acts.
Right. And then you go to New Haven, you had DJ Bro.
Right.
You had so many. You know, you had a variety.
Had Joey D.
Joey, you know, one of the illest. I mean, he's from the Bronx originally. You know, so it's like you look at all that was going on. Not just Bridgeport, Connecticut was popping.
It was popping, man.
Terrible T from Stamford.
Right out
wow.
of Stamford.
You know, and that's another one of my mentors because T came before me. You know, a lot of people, and he's still rocking. You know, a lot of people say, well, you know, y'all made it to places that none of them never made it. I said, well, we made it, and they made it because they were with us. You know, if you rocking with us, whether you're directly with us or not, you made it because we made it.
Right.
That's the way we look at it.
And Armstrong brought us all the way from Bridgeport all the way up to Boston.
Yes.
Doing amateur shows.
Okay.
Then all
then
the way
down
out
to the Bronx and Philadelphia. It's when I tell you, we were doing the damn thing.
So y'all just building y'all resume up and
yes.
down 95.
Yes.
Up and down, man. I mean, in the Bronx, we went there and we battled this group called the Heartbeat Brothers.
Yeah, they had a beatbox called the Heart Box.
Yes.
And no disrespect, but Jock tore him out the frame.
Tore him up, man.
Yeah.
You
know, we had to let people know when we went places, let them know, listen, we hip hop like we all hip hop, but we gotta let y'all know Connecticut got something to say.
Connecticut got something.
We
to
bringing
say.
it,
no question.
Shout out to Ian Matthew.
You know? and so that goes back to what you were saying about where people have been.
Yes.
You know, and so like if they didn't travel, naturally they're not gonna hear about it.
Right.
You know, and we're not the type to be like, well, yo, we're the Skinny Boys,
and we did this.
Yeah,
and we're this. You know?
Yeah.
We like, okay, for those who know, they know, and those who don't know, they'll
find out.
Eventually find out.
Yeah.
Maybe they riding down the street and they'll
Yes.
just hear from their baby mother.
Hear from their baby mother.
Something like that.
Yeah, and like speaking about when we first heard the hip hop, man, I mean, me, City-O, and Tislam, peace to the God once again.
Yes.
You know, we were the dress crew.
Mm.
You know, we would tell the crew exactly what to wear.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what
today they call that swag.
Right.
We don't like to use that word swag because it means a totally different thing. But I'm gonna let Sean finish up on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, in the '60s they had this organization.
Yes.
And the organization was called Secretly We Are Gay.
Oh,
swag.
shit.
You know? But
a bunch of
we
well-off men used to get together on the weekends and go to hotels.
But this is no
holy shit.
No secret. No secret. I mean,
it was an organization that was out.
Yes.
We're not coming.
Man.
We're not coming at.
Never using that word again.
Yes.
Yeah. But we're not coming at no one.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, I know.
It's
just facts. So
yeah, I mean,
we don't
it was back in the day. It's cool.
Yeah. We don't want the LGBT or no one to take this, in a way like
we don't
we're
want the
coming at
alphabet
them.
boys.
No, we don't want them to take it anyway.
Put all y'all energy in Dave Chappelle. Cool.
Negative, because at the end of the day,
we stumbled over this.
It's a part of life.
Just reading, But back to what I was saying, we were like the brothers that me, City-O, Tislam, and we just put the rags together, put the clothes together and stuff like that.
This is what y'all should wear.
This is what you all should wear.
Yeah.
And so, that's how I came in the game. And then once Jay, him and another crew you know, he came home one day, said, "Damn, man, you know, I'm out the crew, you know, that type of thing." He said, "But that's okay though, because you're gonna be an MC." I said, "I don't want to be no MC."
For sure.
Big brother was like, "Yo, you
Yeah.
gonna rap?
You're gonna
Yeah.
be
You gonna
an
rap.
MC,
Yeah.
and Jock's gonna do the beatbox, and we're gonna make things happen."
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so like, you know, only thing that stuck in my mind from back then is the first lyric that I remembered. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and that was from Kevin Rockwell of the Funky Four. You know, and I just remembered that rhyme that he said. "Well, I'm a Kevin Rockwell when I raise a lot of hell, and I like to make love to the
just
brothers,
females.
See, I'm down with the crew
From off the hill.
Well, you walk through the door, folks on the floor. The first thing you touch is
Hips galore."
I was like, whoa.
Mm.
Just to hear that.
This shit is amazing, by the way.
That came from
It dropped a bomb.
that
in me,
came
man.
from that joint. That's the joint.
Yeah.
You know?
And so when I heard that, I was like, wow, this is crazy. Did you hear what he just said?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The first thing you touch is hips galore. I was like, wow.
And then you move on down.
Man.
It's crazy.
It's crazy, man. You know?
So after that, you was like, "I'm definitely gonna be MC."
No,
Yeah.
I wasn't.
You wasn't sold yet.
I wasn't sold yet because
Yeah.
I just wanted to hear it.
Okay.
It was me and ELD
So
that dragged Sean to the game and said, "You're gonna be an MC."
Mm.
And we also at the time we had City O who was with us.
right.
City, okay.
City.
I
O.
guess it wasn't his thing. So all of a sudden here comes Jock.
Mm.
And when I tell you, we were doing the Jock box
for years.
before it ever hit the surface
Mm.
of a record.
Right.
We were doing the Jock box for quite some time.
Mm.
And when I tell you to hear it live, I'm on the Casio playing the Casio. And how the Casio came about was, okay, everyone's doing human beatbox records. The Fat Boys got their thing. Dougie Fresh has his thing. We got to be different. So the Casio was something different. It was irritating noise.
Mm-hmm.
And we said, that goes together. Let's rock with that. And the more people that heard it in them live shows, by the time, I'm not even going to go into records right now because before the records, the last performance we did was at Gulf Street Park.
Right.
It had to be about quite a few thousand that were out there.
Because Gulf Street Park was like the place, the meetup place in New
Yes.
Haven. Again, Who's Who came out there too.
Mm-hmm.
What year was this?
Oh man,
This
talking
was
about
84.
85,
Because I kept telling, it was 85, was it 85? Because
Yeah.
I kept telling my cousin Mark Bush, you got to come check us out, man. Now, you know, everyone needed a push. That was the push financially for us. So we was like, you got to come out and see us, cuz. You really got to listen. When he came out to Gulf Street Park, seeing us perform, right away it was like, I got to get you guys in the studio, man. Like, you know, I mean, I'm new to this, but
This is something.
yes.
Yeah.
something, you know.
So imagine the Jock Box going from something that we just made up and ELD's sister, God rest her soul, Peggy's apartment in the Greens.
Yes.
And then we put the rest of it together with the Casio at our house on James Street.
Right.
That goes from that point to my cousin Mark hearing it. And he's like, wow, next thing you know, we're in the studio. We're recording. But we're not recording the Jock Box right away. We recorded Awesome.
Right.
Right.
That's the truth.
Awesome.
And that Casio, I can remember I went down to Crazy Freddy's.
Yeah.
I picked up a Casio. It was like $15 for the Casio.
Yes.
Shit.
You know, and I was like, dag, that's my last $15.
Yes.
What the fuck I'm gonna do? That's all I got, man.
Yeah.
And I remember I bought that Casio home, man, and you know, that's how we got, you know, we start putting music to the Jock Box.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that was definitely an awesome thing to do, and it only had one outlet at the time. It wasn't like it had a bass thing and
No.
trouble.
No, just one.
No outputs. One output. Man.
Imagine me playing that in a big skating rink, Stratford Roller Park, and you hear the jock box with ELD, Shock and Sean, rocking behind it. Every now and then, even White Flash would be on a scratch, or either I'll be on the scratch. But you put it to record, and it sounds just like it did when it was live. That's the way we looked at it. We said, listen,
that's the best.
We're going to make a record. It ain't out yet, and we would always tell the people, well, this will be out in 2 weeks.
Yeah, right.
So 2 weeks turned into about a damn year.
Right.
Until, let's just say, my cousin Mark and Rhonda, they heard it. And it was like, yeah, this will really be out in about 2 weeks. And finally, music comes out.
Yeah.
And we got the buzz. We really got the buzz from there because we looked at it as if, okay, this ain't no hobby. This is what we doing now.
Yeah.
Right.
This is professional. This is what we do.
Now, do y'all have jobs at this point, or y'all just in school, or what are y'all doing at that point?
Do we have jobs?
Do you have like day jobs at this point?
Oh,
no.
Y'all ain't doing that.
No,
Okay.
we were chilling.
Gotcha. Hear you.
We were chilling. We was broke, but you never knew it.
Yeah.
Because we always kept ourselves up.
We up in the attic.
Yes.
Perfecting the craft.
Yeah. I'm cutting hair, messing people up, cutting hair,
yes,
people up, learning the game of cutting.
Right.
Jay's on the wheels and stills.
So they get
that type of thing.
A mixtape back then from me. They're getting their hair cut, but they also, if they came in time, they got to see us practice. So imagine that. And just imagine how all the pieces just fall into place. Even though, ELD left the group before the Jock Box ever came out.
Right.
Because
it was supposed to be 4 y'all. Why did he leave?
He says management problems, so we got to go with that.
Okay. Good.
And it was kind of surprising because now, me being Superman J, I had to revamp the group a little bit more.
Right.
Jock, you're going to be on the mic more. I'm going to be on the mic more.
Right.
This is how it's going to go. Because if you look at it, Awesome, you didn't hear my voice. You just heard the scratches. You heard the beat. I had to tell them they're going to play a bigger part in this. And to be honest, they came around rather quick. It was like they was, once again, we take it back to my uncle playing the gospel music in the basement and then performing places. I mean, them instincts kicked in like, okay, this is what we going to do.
Right.
And it happened. Here we are today.
Right.
And we find out years later, my grandpa, God bless his soul.
Yes. My father's father.
Deacon, he had a group too called
Bishop Harrison and the Solanaires, a gospel group.
Right. And my uncle Ernie's group was called the Stars of Harmony.
Yes. Now
they both had vinyl.
Yeah. Our father's father used to sing for President Eisenhower.
Right.
Holy shit.
Right.
So this is in your blood, basically.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
We had also our great grandmother.
Right.
Performed at Carnegie Hall
twice.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's in the blood. It's in the bloodline. And no matter how it comes along, and I'm going to say this to most people that are out in the industry, it started somewhere in that family. And I don't care if you were coming up just listening to the radio. It started somewhere in that family. Somebody was doing something. Everyone wanted to be the Jackson 5 back then.
Right.
Everyone wanted to be, if you were older, you wanted to be the Shy Lights, the Moments, all these groups that came about. It's amazing how your outlets come about. It really is,
Definitely.
Like today, everybody wants to be Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Right.
Like today, they want to be Nas.
I mean, I want to be married to Beyonce. I don't know
You
about
see what I'm saying?
anybody else. I wouldn't mind, you know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
mind having a couple billion
Yeah.
throw
Right.
around. Wouldn't mind growing my hair how the fuck I want.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Just
So,
don't look at your girl and mistakenly say, "Hey, bae."
you know.
Shout out to her. I think she's watching right now.
That's a good thing, man.
Word.
That support is everything. That's a good thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And big shout, to our wives, man, because
Hey, baby.
they help us and they allowed us to continue living our dreams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they stood behind us, and that's a big thing because sometimes you have marriages that break off because it may not be what they want, but they stood behind us
Right.
the whole time. And let me not say stood behind us because I always like to say, beside every great black man is a black woman,
Right.
or a powerful woman,
Definitely.
whether she be black, Hispanic, whatever. Behind every great man, there's a powerful woman.
Yes.
You know.
I thank my wife for making a sacrifice for my 3 children.
Yes,
Right.
indeed. I have 3 of my own.
Shout out to Wazir, Saeed, and Najwa.
Shout out to Cassius, Jabril, Ahmad, and my 2 grandsons, Cairo and Kai Kai.
Gotta shout out the babies.
Yes.
No doubt.
Now, do they do music at all? Do you see them gravitating towards hip hop or just music in general, or like instruments at least?
My son Jabril, whose name is, you probably heard of him, Supreme Ali out of Bridgeport.
Definitely,
He
yes.
does.
Mhm.
He does music.
Didn't know that was your son.
Yes.
Definitely heard of him.
Cash he's good with them beats. They all gravitated at one time or another. At least my kids. My 2 oldest gravitated to the music. Whereas you have my youngest Ahmad and Wazir and Saeed, they were like into the games, the computers. They were into that. And then you had my niece Najwa. I think she's gonna be, not that any of them are dumbfounded because they're not, but she's gonna be the business side of it all.
Right.
She's gonna be the one telling, listen, Ahmad, I need for you to get this done. Wazir, you do this, and she's the youngest of the gang.
Yeah, that's how. Yeah, if y'all gonna do this, you might as well monetize it somehow, some
Yes.
way.
Right.
So I'm
Right.
just y'all do all that shit. I take care of this other shit.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say a shout out to my old comrades. Good looking barbershop. Mike, Lamar, Vince, Cash, Rashid. I want to say peace to y'all brothers.
Shout out to my workspace, man, the Bridgeport Post Office, man. All y'all people down there. And shout out to the Circle, man, because
100%.
the Lanhams are like that's family to us.
Right.
That whole circle in a sense is like family to us. So, us sitting here with you didn't know it. We didn't know it. Your family.
Right.
We come from that same hood, you know what I mean? And that upbringing was everything because nothing against the terrace, but you never knew the terrace was there.
Yeah.
Because it was so like, okay, that stays there and this stays here.
Right. The Richards.
Yes.
The Gaskins, the Washingtons.
The Johnsons, the Williams.
The Underwoods.
We can go on, the Washingtons.
Yeah, but it was definitely easy to like.
Rest in peace to my man Ace. Marion Lee McPherson, rest in peace to him.
True that.
That was one of the first friends that we actually lost. And we can't say, I just said to Flash a few months back, I said it to ELD and Day Money, who we know as Triple C. Stan, we haven't lost one another. And they were like, what you mean? I said, we're all still alive. It's a blessing, man. You get groups out here and friends that are losing people. We haven't lost each other. We might have lost, and as we say, rest in peace to my parents, man, because they sacrificed a lot. Margot Harrison, Jay Harrison, they sacrificed everything. My grandmother, Lucille Lloyd and Ernest Lloyd.
Yes.
Peace.
They sacrificed everything for us to have it as we have it right now. Like yourself, your mom or whoever, they sacrificed everything for you to have it like you have it.
So much.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably why she moved out the terrace.
Yeah.
Because
That's
it was
Come on
easy
now.
to fall right back into that shit because
yeah.
you know the lady that used to babysit me lived in the terrace, so it was
Okay.
like I wasn't that far removed from it.
Right.
And then you know you got your your kids on the street or whatever, and then y'all just venture out, and then like we said, that little hole in the gate. They make that little hole in the gate, like, hey, what's over here? Nothing but trouble.
Yeah.
Gang stuff, shootouts. I remember having like my first loss of a person when I was like maybe 6. It
Right.
was Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marty.
Yeah.
Mont and Marty. We seen Mont the day, and man, God rest his soul. I seen Mont the day before that same night before it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I said, Mont, you good? He said, I'm just waiting here for my friend.
Right.
Man, to this day it seems like it was yesterday because we go back up the hill to we go back to recording.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? We hear boom, boom, boom.
Mm-hmm. Be like that.
Rush down the hill.
Mm-hmm.
Mont's gone.
Gone.
God bless his soul.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it got crazy, man. Marty was one of the coolest dudes I ever met. Yo,
Yes.
he was always fixing like mopeds and
Yeah.
doing whatever. Then just one day,
And there's just tons of family and friends.
And he missed his brother Mont so much, man.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
like that. I think that really tore him up to the point where he like. I used to see Marty. He used to have like this, not a glow, but he used to be like jovial kind of.
Yes.
But then when that happened, he like kind of lost that light.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you speak on that, we also have to, send a shout out to Robin because that's their mom.
Yeah.
Right.
And also a shout out to, up in heaven, man, to my cousin Rahima, Jock's brother.
Right.
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 Rahima was always with us, but he stays with me that much more because he was killed on my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
So it just, my birthday can be bittersweet when you look at things like that.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
It's a day for
you're happy to be
celebration.
alive, yeah, but at the same
like-
time, damn,
Mm-hmm.
Rahima's not here.
Right.
And we send a special shout out to all the mothers
And fathers,
who have lost a loved one.
Yes.
Don't matter if your child was gangster. It don't matter if your child was innocent.
It's nobody's
a
life
loss,
to take. That's
a
right.
loss is a loss, and we just want to send a shout out to all the mothers and fathers, from the Skinny Boys to you. May the God be well pleased with all their souls.
Stop the violence.
Let's get back to the hip hop.
Yes.
Let's get back to the hip hop, man. So now, Superior Crush. Was there ever any beef with Cold Crush because of the name thing?
No.
It wasn't no beef, but
We knew Tony and all of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we performed with them many times, and
I can remember Grandmaster Cash. He came to Stratford Road Park and
Casanova Fly.
he said, man, there's no other crush but the Cold Crush.
And y'all was right there, just like him.
Yes.
Oh man, it was all beautiful, man. And I understood it because, I looked up to Grandmaster Cash and the brothers, man. Same way as I looked up to the Treacherous Three.
Yeah.
The
Cold Crush were a measuring stick.
Right.
When I tell you, literally, you could have hit records out, but I don't know many groups that had a show like them.
Mm-hmm.
The changing of the outfits. That's stuff that the Temptations and all that do.
Right.
Yeah, Treacherous Three was definitely nasty to me
Yes.
too.
Shout to all these groups that came before us, man, because they set a path for anyone who came after them. They set that path and they left it open and said, okay, ride the wave.
Yeah.
And we left that path open, here, not just in Bridgeport, but in Connecticut. And it's sad because the only one that followed that path was Steezo. And, my man Jim Slice, who's in the background right now, he can attest to that. But all those guys, man, would come to our studio on James Street.
James Street was like the
Dulio.
the Taj. That
Rock
was
on to my man Dulio.
That was the Taj Mahal.
I gotta get Dulio in here
Yeah.
one of these days.
And everybody in that attic, man. Everybody, the whole Bridgeport, man. They used to come up in my mother's attic, man. I mean, man, listen.
Bismarcky.
everybody was up in that attic.
Kane.
You know?
Kane?
Yes.
Wow.
They used to come down here,
TJ Swan.
you know, before Kane was signed.
Mm.
You know, you had Fife Dog.
Right. They come
Rest in
Man.
peace. Yeah.
Yeah.
spend the night at the house.
Oh
You know?
shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm.
Chuck Chill Out.
Chuck, chill out.
Chuck Chill Out, yeah. I
Legend.
remember Red Alert and Chuck coming here for the first time to Bridgeport.
Mm.
And said, damn, we thought Bridgeport was like country, like you got the cows and everything running around. I said, no, we got crimes and projects in Connecticut like everywhere else in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I said, wherever you see black folks at or people of color at, you're going to see some drama.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Why? Because we all poor and we trying to make it.
All trying to make it.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Now, at what point? So you guys make the record awesome. Now, how are you getting that record out there, like on wax and stuff? Like, is it being distributed? Like, are y'all selling it? Like, is it like
We're
the front of the
selling
car? Okay.
We're going to UPS and shipping it.
Yeah, we was
Everywhere.
going to UPS,
Yes.
Okay.
packing the music in the boxes and
Yes.
stuff like that. And then when it got out of hand, that we couldn't keep up with
Distributors took it over.
then we went to like people like
Pearl Distributors,
Pearl
yeah.
Distribution and stuff like that. And then they took it to the next level.
Okay.
You know.
Now, is that how you guys get discovered? Like, it just falls into like, the right hands, or what happens?
Man,
No, we happened to
Adam Levy
get discovered. He was over
in the UK.
in London, England.
Yes.
Oh shit. Okay.
He hears the record.
Mm.
Right. He hears it. And he asked this gentleman, who is that?
Yeah.
Mm.
And he said, that's this group called the Skinny Boys.
Yes.
Mm.
And that was right up his alley because his father,
Morris Levy. The
Was-
great Morris Levy,
Mm.
he was the
as
one,
they call him.
right? And he was the one that was
Had Gladys Knight and the
had
Pips,
Gladys Knight and the
Black
Pips.
Ivory,
Mm.
Right.
all these groups that he had on Buddha Records too.
Mm.
So Morris was the one that back then we had found out that he was the one that started the payola.
Mm.
Pay the DJ to play your
Yeah.
record.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So, you know, not to get off course, but most times when you hear these records every hour on the hour, yeah, the DJ's getting paid.
Yeah, somebody's getting paid for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he heard that we was the Skinny Boys, and when he got back in the States,
He called Mark.
he called the number that was on that
Yes.
label.
Mm. Okay.
And that's how we, was going back and forth to New York, meeting after meeting after meeting,
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so
We
after
get
that-
signed to Warlock.
Right.
Mhm.
From there, you can't say it's like a rap,
Mm.
but the story goes on. It gets deeper.
Story goes on.
Story
Yeah.
goes on.
So now you sign to Warlock and you start working on the first album.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now on that album, what was your favorite song to record?
Well, that's
Mm.
the Jock Box.
Okay.
The Jock Box,
Yes.
ended up being, the single,
Mm-hmm.
But Feed Us the Beat
Feed Us the Beat was
and Unity.
Mm.
crazy.
Yeah.
Those
Feed
were
Us
some
the Beat
powerful
was
tracks,
like,
Mm.
we felt like we were the Beatles.
Mm.
Trust me when I tell you,
awesome
we were
stuff.
like, listen, man, our staple thing was always to have a rock and roll riff behind one of our
Right.
beats, whatever beat it was.
Mm.
Feed Us the Beat. If it was Rip the Cut,
Mm.
Mhm.
it was basically to have that rock and roll riff. We wanted to be a staple of some type of irritating noise.
Mm.
And Jock had that voice.
Yes.
Right.
I am Jock Box
Mm-hmm.
And
with Shock and Sean
and
Superman J.
and
We came here live.
you know what? To do one thing.
And
And the
That was
sad
it.
thing about that, I'm gonna say it because a lot of people don't like to say it.
Mm.
Yeah, that record was Kiss Do You Love Me that I was scratching.
right.
That record was a Kiss record, Do You Love Me?
I gotta listen to that shit again.
Yes. And it passes by so quick. That's probably why they couldn't catch it, because you hear
Oh yeah, I had to pay for that sample.
but
Okay.
when you hear it
Mm.
in its entirety just playing through,
Mm.
what you hear is do you love me?
Mm.
You don't hear that
Yeah.
because I dragged it out.
Mm. Wow.
So that's probably why they never caught on to it.
Mm. Hopefully they will never.
Yeah.
Well, to fast forward a little bit. Now, why isn't a lot of your music on streaming services?
You have we have 3 albums altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Weightless is on there.
Weightless
and so
on
is the They Can't Get Enough is on there.
there. Yeah. Skinny and Proud is just.
It's not on there. And I think it's how
I found that on YouTube.
They contracted it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. How they contracted it. I mean, let me say this much. When we were with Warlock, the promotion, the focus was on us.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the Jungle Brothers, but I remember Adam Levy telling us.
And MC Search was on there too.
Yeah. I remember him telling us. At that time, we were out. You are the only ones that are selling.
Mm.
So when he comes and he says to Mark and Rhonda, who tell us, or the boys around and around, almost a little at 400,000.
Mm.
Then he says, the next time around, they're about 470,000 albums sold.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Next thing you know, I know you're going to bring this up, but now we find out we on Jive.
Right.
And y'all never wanted to leave Warlock in the first place. So how do y'all get to Jive?
Well, I'm not going to say we didn't want to leave because we always thought that bigger was better.
Yes.
Mm.
But once we seen the roster that was on Jive in comparison to Warlock,
it makes sense.
More can be put into you.
You get lost.
Right, yeah.
Right. On a smaller level. You can get more invested in you.
Mm.
Yes.
And so, on Jive, it got invested too, but it's just so many groups that they had.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You had Schoolie D, Steady B, all of them, Fresh Prince, Jazzy Jeff. It was a huge roster.
Mm-hmm.
So we got caught up in,
but everybody had
a lot of
our
music was like KRS-One. Underground was promoting itself.
Killing me.
The focus was really on, and big shout to them, Jazzy Jeff from Fresh Prince, because whatever happened, it just happened.
Mm-hmm.
But they were dope.
They were dope.
Everybody on our roster was dope. I mean, like I said, shout to Steady B, man, and hold it down, man. Hold your head. I'm not sure if you know about Steady B. I'm pretty sure you do know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Schoolie D,
he's doing a long stretch. Him and Cool C.
Yeah.
Doing a long stretch, but that's still our brother.
Now, there's a performance I heard about. It was Schoolie D, Steady B, and KRS-One.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Can y'all tell me about that performance?
You mean the one you're seeing online?
Yeah.
Well, that was all of us at a Jive showcase.
Right.
And the first time I seen it was a few years back when they showed us. They showed a snippet of us. Cool Mo D.
Right.
Jazzy Jeff, Fresh Prince. Biz Markie's in there talking to Scott LaRock.
Right.
Rest in peace of Scott.
Rest in peace.
That show was so dope, man, because everyone got theirs that night, and the people that came out to see the show were just amazed at the talent. They were just amazed,
That's what it was, a showcase for Jive RCA artists.
Yes.
Okay, got you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when does the first album drop? It drops in 86, I want to say.
The first album was actually 86, yes.
86, all right.
Yes.
The Weightless, right. Now, what's the reception, I guess, first around town and then I guess like the industry? Because, well, first I wanted to ask, right, like the Skinny Boy name, because like, I think I wanted to know was like back in the day, there was like a thing of biting and stuff like that. So obviously you got the Fat Boys and then you got the Skinny Boys.
Yeah, because they had like.
It was a counterpart
groups, right?
Yeah.
Type thing. We was in a time of gimmicks.
Right.
Everyone had a gimmick.
They got somebody that beatbox.
Yes.
You got somebody that beatbox.
Yes.
Three people.
And then you had things like, even before us, you had UTFO, Roxanne.
Mm-hmm.
Roxanne Shantae comes along.
Right.
So there was always something to go with. You had LL Cool J, you had MC Shan.
Right. Yeah.
There was always a gimmick that went on.
Right.
Everybody had like a counterpart.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, and Roxanne, man, She been a trailblazer since the age of zip
Yes.
too.
Right.
You know, I mean, peace to Roxanne Shante.
Mm.
She been a trailblazer, man, and you know,
Let's just say without Roxanne, maybe there's not a Juice Crew.
she was just
There's
she
no
was
Juice
master.
Crew.
She carried the legacy of the woman, man. You know,
Yes.
starting back from, you know, if you go back to Shy Rock,
Yes.
Mm.
if you go back to, you know, Wanda D, if you go back
Yes. Debbie D.
Debbie D, and Roxanne Shante she
Pebbly
stood up.
Pool. Yeah.
She stood up.
She stood out big time.
You know, I'm
Still
not saying
stand
she
out.
stood out over them because she
Mm.
did her own thing and they did their own thing.
She was a battle cat.
but she was a
Mm.
battle cat.
Battle cat.
Yeah,
For real.
You know,
I was talking to Jazzy Joyce, and she got a couple stories about
Yes.
Roxanne
oh, she's
Shante.
Yes.
Jazzy Joyce is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
She used to be on the road
Yeah.
with us all the time.
Mm-hmm. So now, so the first album drops now. What's the reception from, I guess, Bridgeport or like the state of Connecticut? And then what's the industry response?
Crazy.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
Because from the first album, we was doing places like the Aggie Fest
Mm.
Yes.
every year.
A&T. Yeah.
You know, at A&T. You know, from the first album, we was at places like the Spectrum
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
in Philadelphia. You know, like 25, 30,000 people.
Erie,
Mm.
Pennsylvania.
Erie, Pennsylvania, the Funhouse. You know, Ohio, Akron, Cleveland, Dayton.
Mm.
We met
You know,
that first album. We happened to meet LeBron James, who was 1 year old. Met his mother too.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
yeah.
We were on our way to a show, and Gloria says, "I know who you guys are, but can I just ask for an album for my son?
Mm.
He gonna be somebody one day."
Sure enough.
She
Sure
said he gonna be somebody one day.
Mm.
By the time he turns 16, she calls me up, "Jay, go get the Sports Illustrated."
Mm.
I'm looking and I'm like, the chosen one. I call her back and I said, "Is this your son? This LeBron?"
Yeah, this the boy.
This is it.
She was like, "This is him. He's the real deal."
Mm.
So
Yeah.
that's part of that Weightless album.
Mm.
You know, meeting people. You know, shout to Silver B,
Mm.
Cleveland,
Shout out
Ohio.
Silver
You know,
B. Silver B introduced us to not Gerald, to Eddie Levert,
who also
Okay.
introduced us to Gerald Levert
also to Gerald and his
because
sons, you know,
Mm.
we were Gerald Levert's at that time his favorite group.
his favorite rap group at the time.
Shit.
Yeah. So we go to their house when we were
Mm.
in Cleveland, Ohio.
Went to Eddie Levert's
Eddie
house.
Levert's house.
Went to
Yes.
his house.
Wow.
He had
Levert
us over
is
there.
performing,
Mm.
is practicing.
Yeah. Wow.
They're
Yo,
practicing.
wow.
Yes.
Right down the street, Don King lives.
What? In
When I tell
Cleveland,
you,
Ohio?
this
Cleveland.
house was massive
In Cleveland.
in Cleveland.
And we
Cleveland,
performed-
I mean, not like Bridgeport has a lot of talent. Connecticut as a whole has a lot of talent.
A
Shout
lot
to
of
New
talent.
Haven.
Ohio too.
Ohio
Got a lot of talent.
is flooded. When I tell you flooded, I mean, you're looking at these people singing, and you're like, why aren't they out?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You
A
know?
lot, man. And we performed at Eddie Levert's house.
Yes.
Performed what?
The Jock
the Jock
Box.
Box.
Oh, wow.
Amazed. He was amazed.
Right in his house, man.
Yeah.
And like he gave his house, you know, great hospitality.
Yeah. The
down-
house was set up that
very down to earth.
you see
people.
how this is in right here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they had a room with just a mirror,
Mm-hmm. Just to perform in.
just to perform it.
Wow.
Perfect your show.
That's wow. That's fucking crazy. Now, what's the craziest road story y'all got from being on the road throughout all three albums that y'all can tell without somebody getting like
Yeah.
divorced or
Detailed.
something? Yeah, divorced or some shit.
Well, no, you know, I would say the craziest road story that we know of. Well, one of them.
Mm.
I remember we was coming from. It was us, Joski, and us. Joski Love and us. And
That was Dayton, Ohio.
Big
I
Daddy,
remember that.
Big Daddy Kane and Bismarck, all of
Jazzy
us.
Jeff, Fresh Prince. A
Yeah.
few of us was there. Bismarcky.
Yeah, we're all, you know, after the concert, we're out in the back, and then we start getting chased by a bunch of people.
Mm.
We were performing at the time. They rushed the stage.
Mm.
Right. And they chased us all the way to the bus after the show.
Yes.
And I remember Joe Ski said to Red Alert, "Damn, Red, I don't know why you was running.
They're not chasing
They
you.
ain't chasing you." And
They
Red
coming to
Alert
see you, Otis.
and Red Alert says, "We gonna see if your ish get played on this get played tonight." You know,
Y'all keep playing with Red.
Yeah.
as a Red Alert said, "We gonna
Mhm.
see if your ish get played tonight."
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so that was like crazy. Though,
You didn't hear Red Alert playing Joeski left no more.
Like no more at all.
Yeah.
Wow.
Don't
I
mess
don't
with the
know.
DJ.
Yeah, the
I don't know
DJ
if
is
he-
most important.
Yeah, but he meant what he said though. But
Yes.
it was really like crazy when he
Yeah.
said that though. It was just funny. But we had a lot of fun with a lot of good people, man.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of good people, man.
Shout out to Shan. Shan had we never got high,
Oh
Mm.
man.
but Shan had the trees, a bag of trees, as he would call them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm like,
man.
how you getting this through on the plane?
Yeah, how? Yeah, that don't.
Big
seem-
bag of weed. I can't even say weed. They was trees.
Mhm.
And I said, wow. He's like, skinny boys, you want to meditate?
Y'all ready to meditate?
No, we're good.
I don't know. That's
Yeah,
all you,
man.
brother.
Shout
you
out
enjoy
to
that.
MC Shan, man.
hmm
Mhm.
Good people,
Yes.
man.
Do you have a
Another trailblazer.
favorite place y'all been?
Say that again.
Do you have a favorite place you've been?
For me, it's hard to say because the Aggie Fest was Black College.
Mm.
Just imagine, I mean, there's a lot of people that have performed at Black colleges,
Mm-hmm.
but for us to be there,
Mm-hmm.
we were chosen by our own to be there,
Right.
you know? So that's one of the favorite places, but also Cleveland, Ohio
That's a special place.
holds
Cleveland,
a certain place. It's
Dayton.
a big place in our heart.
Akron, and another place that supported us a lot was Detroit. Man.
Detroit.
I mean, they
Chicago.
Detroit.
Chicago.
They bought most of our albums, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Chicago, that Midwest. Yep.
yeah.
Mm.
And places like Chicago, they thought we was like a go-go band at first.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and the people in Pittsburgh thought we was from Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why do
Yeah.
you think that? Like, why do people think? Because you said earlier that people thought that you were from New York or you from Pittsburgh. Like, why do people tend to think that?
I don't know why. I guess they didn't hear, enough. I guess they didn't read Word Up magazine enough.
Yes.
Mhm.
Right on
I
and
guess
all
they
that.
didn't
Yeah.
read Black Beat magazine
Yeah.
enough.
Mhm.
And
They didn't
Right
read the
On
billboard.
magazine,
No.
Like, oh, they good. We claiming them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
you know. And so we was in Right On magazine plenty of times. Black Beat,
Mm-hmm.
Word Up magazine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, they got us on the front of some covers. They got us always in the centerfold. and
Centerfolds.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Puzzles,
we had
whatever.
a lot of our people that were in Bridgeport and in Connecticut. They weren't reading a lot of this stuff.
No.
Right.
But it was at every news corner,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, man. I mean, I just didn't get it. But one of my favorite places, I would have to say, I would want to say was Philadelphia, the Spectrum,
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
because I mean, it was so many people
It's a great city.
in the Spectrum, man. I couldn't
It was packed out.
even see.
You couldn't even. I had to go walk. I walked out to my turntables.
Mm-hmm.
I had to go walk back. And Sean and Jock said, "What's wrong?" I was like, I just smirked at him and said, "Yo, it's crazy out here.
It's crazy.
Crazy."
And everybody performed that night, from
Yes.
KRS-One to LL Cool J to Run DMC to Heavy
Man.
D and the Boys. I mean,
Crazy.
everybody performed that night.
Mm-hmm.
But I never seen that many people. in
They
my life.
chased the bus
I'm like, man, it's crazy.
as we getting on the bus. They chased the bus.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't want us to leave. They blocked it for a while. Shout, when we say Philly, shout out to my man Charlie Mack,
Charlie Mack,
Mm-hmm.
legend.
Legend.
That's my man right there.
peace to the Roots,
Yes,
and peace to the DJ that broke our record out there, Lady B.
Lady B, without a
Mm.
doubt.
You know,
Lady B had rap in regular rotation before anybody else had it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking about country-wise.
Wow.
Mhm.
Before anybody else had it, Lady B had it in regular rotation.
that's because a place like Philadelphia is so
Yeah.
culturally rich.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
You know,
And I would say, and no disrespect to anyone here, but I would say New Haven's our cultural spot.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, Bridgeport is too, but you see more of yourself when you look at the artifacts and everything else what's going on. The Freddie Fixer Parade.
Freddie Fixer,
You
yeah.
know, well, that was, you know, us coming up as youngins, and people would ask us, "Where you going?" We're going to the Freddie Fixer Parade. Where's that at?
Like that was a staple.
Yes.
Yeah. But we can remember catching the train there, and our friends would be like, "You going to New Haven? But y'all gonna have beef up there?" We're like, "No, we don't have beef.
No, we don't have beef.
You just got, you know, wherever you go, you just got to carry yourself in an orderly fashion.
Yeah.
You know, same way.
Be respectful.
Yeah,
That's
if
it.
you in Bridgeport, you know, if I go to the West End, I'm carrying myself in an orderly fashion.
Right.
Yes.
If I go to the East End, I'm carrying myself in an orderly
Yes.
fashion. You know, because that's not my turf.
Right.
You know, I'm from the North End. I grew up in the Hollow. You know, and I got friends on all sides of towns, and that's how it should be.
Yes.
You know, you shouldn't be nervous about where you're going. You know, and when I was saying about 6 degrees of separation, if everybody would just communicate, you know, there wouldn't be all of this killing because it's that close.
Because you have damn near family killing family.
You know,
basically, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So you know,
and when you say one of the best places we've been to, let me say one of the funniest things. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We get there.
Oh man.
And well, let me say before Pittsburgh, Rochester.
Yeah.
We're looking at the guys, man.
They're
Their dress
gangsters
code.
now. They're gangsters.
Gangsters had finger waves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had bob haircuts
Yes.
like women.
We say Cleveland is
But
a favorite because Cleveland had this spot called Euclid Ave. Pimps and pushers, man. You would think you thought you was in Vegas.
Real pimps.
Real pimps and pushers.
Yeah, real.
Long fingernail, long coke nail.
Right, yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, like,
Suit, tie. Yes. Riding the Cadillac.
Yeah. I used to hear some things about Ohio.
Yeah.
But the way people talk about Cleveland now, like they talk about how like the whole state is like a flyover state.
Yeah.
But you know, I know some things that have happened in Ohio.
Yeah, it's Cleveland, Dayton, Akron. Those are like roller skating cities.
Yes.
You know, they
Detroit
you
just
could be a
as well.
grown adult and they go roller skating as a community. You know, but if you ever seen that movie Belly, there was one dude in the movie Belly, he had a bob in his hair. That's how the brothers was rocking it in Pittsburgh and stuff like that.
Yes.
Are you talking about the dude with the yellow jumpsuit? That's fucking eating a banana. That dude, yes. I know you're talking about. Yeah. I don't like that shit.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
that was their as we call it nowadays, swag.
Right, yeah.
That's what they did.
That was their style.
Yeah, that was their style, man. You know?
And then you couldn't hate because that wasn't your hood. So
Man,
it's
listen,
like
I
you
mean,
ain't gonna say too much. It's like
And then you
that's
get
how
to
y'all
places like Chicago that could literally shake you up.
Right.
Because there's a code like the West Coast.
Yeah.
The hat, the way you wear the hat. This way is gang affiliation. To the side is gang affiliation. Everything except for the front. Front, you good. So it's, you know, everywhere you go is different.
It's different, man.
And you should learn something wherever you go. You should learn something about that place.
Probably one of the wildest places we probably been to was St. Louis.
Yes.
St. Louis,
Yes.
yeah.
You know, a lot of people sleep these places, man.
Oh no, you know.
Rough.
You know, it's some rough cats out there.
And then you look
Kentucky.
at Paducah, Kentucky. They're coming to the show.
Yes.
On horseback.
People are coming to the show on horseback.
Horseback.
Yeah, we had a show at this park in Paducah, Kentucky.
Kind of where's the bumblefuck time was y'all in?
Brothers.
Brothers.
Brothers and sisters are showing up.
They're showing up on horse.
On horseback.
Like,
we thought we was at some damn rodeo.
I mean
like, yo, for real. I mean, like that was a part of their culture.
It's different. You know, everywhere's different. You know?
I don't know where you find a horse just all, you know, unless you're on a farm or some shit.
I mean, I forgot the name of the movie that was out where a town was taking care of horses and stuff like that. I forgot the name of the movie, but you had a lot of good black actors in there. And they had horses all in the town. It might have been Texas or somewhere. I'm not sure the name of the movie, but when I seen that movie as of recent, the first thing I thought of when we did a show in Paducah, Kentucky.
Right.
Shocked. I mean, they was at the park. They was chilling.
It was just like it was the let out like it's in Atlanta. You just parking your horse and tying them up over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. Or they get sitting up there on the horse watching the show.
Right.
You know?
That's crazy.
But it's you know, when you get outside of your setting, when you get out of Bridgeport,
Everything's
when you get out of
different.
Connecticut, everything's different, man. And I'm sure that those that are in the audience, those that did travel and still do travel, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Now you guys are doing all this touring. Now, how's the money looking when you guys are touring?
Well, from the shows, you're getting paid from the
Shows, yeah.
Mm.
You know, but that's not really the bulk
Of
because
Mm-hmm.
there's some residual that you
That
would
come
like
into
to
play
get
that you don't know about.
that we didn't know about being young and dumb.
Yes.
Right.
And we still don't know about.
Yes.
Okay.
You know. And so that's why like you know,
Most artists, their money comes from them touring.
Yeah,
Right.
basically.
They would tell you that. They would say,
they
listen.
don't come from record sales, they come from merch
yes,
and touring.
right,
Yes.
right. And so like while you're doing the shows and stuff, you know, you're getting money, but you're spending it as quick as you're getting it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, you always gotta have fresh gear.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you may take a big portion of that money. I'm wearing this right here the next show.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
I'm
Just
buying this.
just to
Oh,
fit.
how much is that right there? It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't
That's right.
matter. I got
That's
it.
right.
I got it.
Right.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And so like, you know, we're doing shows and we're living like, you know, check to check or cash to cash.
Yeah.
Mm.
Show to show.
Show to show. Been spending the money as quick as you're getting it.
Mm-hmm.
Not really looking at there's gonna come a point in time
When it stops.
when this stops.
When it shuts down. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And so you know, us being, you know, young and dumb, and we're not the only ones.
Mm.
You
No.
know? But what makes it so big on us is because we're the only group that have made it to that status.
Mm.
And so we're the only ones that the people can really talk about
Yes.
around here.
Right.
You
They
see what I'm
called-
saying? In Connecticut.
Mm.
They call what happened to us, they call us the new edition of rap. As far as how the business was.
So y'all just had a completely
Because-
messed up deal. Y'all
yeah.
had like something worse than a
Yeah.
360, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. You know?
So now that was Mark and Rhonda's fault.
Well, I mean, you know, you call an ace and a spade,
Yes.
Mhm.
because they're the ones that
And we can't forget the label.
issued
In
out
the label.
The label
Yeah.
just as well. Yeah.
Mm. Now, why was their name on a lot of the written and produced when it came to a lot of the records and stuff like that?
We
Yeah.
were told from the outset of the first album, if we put
You
your
put
name on it, they're going to take your money.
Right, they're gonna take the money.
So
Okay.
when you look at, put it this way, you look at family,
Mm.
you don't expect family to take you.
Mm.
Right.
Now, these are the same family members that my mother said had them in her living room
Mm.
on James Street and said, listen, don't y'all rip these boys off.
Right.
Right.
They heard that loud and clear. But it's what happens in the industry, sad to say.
Right.
Mm.
We ain't the only ones. We ain't the first. We ain't the last.
Right.
You know?
And we just thank God that we didn't lose, you know,
Our minds.
the essence of
That's right.
oneself.
Mm.
Because a lot of people that we do know personally that went on an excursion and never came back.
Never.
Mm.
You know, they never retrieved themselves and things of that nature.
In plain English, man,
You know.
the industry fucked them up.
Mm.
You know?
You know.
And I've heard people say, I had more fun when I was an amateur.
Everybody says I had
Because
I
I
had way more fun when
enjoyed
I was
it.
broke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I could understand what they're saying, but they say that because with professionalism comes business.
Mm.
Right.
And there's a reason why they call it show business.
Mm.
You could have a dope show,
Mm.
but the most important thing, you better have your
Your
business
business
correct.
better be right.
Business,
Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
And that's why I gotta salute like the new school.
Yes.
Mm.
Because they've learned off of the shortcomings of what the old school fell short of doing.
Yes.
Mm.
Which was the paperwork, the clerical work,
Mm.
you know. And
That
so
publishing is everything.
right, and so I
Mhm.
gotta salute them.
Yes.
Even if I don't agree with
Mm.
what's going on, I gotta salute them because
Right.
they
Yes.
take care of business first.
First.
you
And
know?
ain't nothing
So-
better. I mean, I know from our point of view, the way we look at it, and it's nothing against other races, but it's nothing like seeing black millionaires. That's a blessing, man, just to be able to say, listen, we got black millionaires in this industry that we ran with.
That's crazy, yeah.
You know? Thank God for, for LL Cool J starting up Rock the Bells Radio. You know, because that's like...
I missed the Rock the Bells Festival.
Yeah,
that's one thing I missed.
Yeah, too.
Think about the fact that he puts this thing together, and he could have went about his business and just kept doing TV and everything else he was doing. But he chose to, what I call it, is giving back to the hip hop community.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And now he's giving back to, all the community because of the fact that hip hop and R&B, because Rock the Bell plays everything.
Everything.
And shout to him on his Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Big time.
Shout out to him and Jay-Z.
Yes.
Word.
Public Enemy, all these guys that have made it, man,
Now, with the deal y'all signed, do y'all regret signing that even though they took you all over the world?
Well,
I can't say regret myself as Superman J. I can't say regret because...
I mean, you got to take the good with the bad, but it's like...
Yes. It was a learning tool for us as well as a whole lot of our comrades. It was a very good learning experience, and I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world.
Right.
Yeah, of course, you would love to have seen the residuals from that, from your record sales. You would love to have seen that residuals. But to be able to travel places free of charge.
Right.
Well, not necessarily free.
Not necessarily free. You're going to work.
I mean, it could have been on your dime and you not know it.
Yeah, no, it was.
Yeah.
It definitely took out for it.
And we say free because of the fact that it was something that we enjoy doing. When it's something you enjoy doing, that's freedom.
About that. You're not thinking about that.
No.
Right.
That's freedom. When it's something, it's like getting up for a 9 to 5 every day. And you say, man, I'm tired of this. I don't feel like this rad today. I don't feel like this no more. Versus something that, just imagine if doing just these podcasts was your 9 to 5. This is something that you love to do.
I say it every day. I hate my job. I wish I could do this full time.
Yeah.
But just grinding and I'm making some money, but just not enough to sustain myself.
They say when you enjoy what you do, you never work a day in your life. Working.
Like, this is fun. This is I've been doing this 6 years.
Yes.
Half the time didn't make a dime.
Yeah.
Right.
But it gave you peace of mind. And trust when I say, man, I'm not saying this because it sounds good to say. The payoff is coming when you least expect it.
Right.
Trust that.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You don't get signed when you want. You don't get all these accolades coming to you when you want. It comes when you least expect it.
Right.
That's why it's called the element of surprise.
And I wouldn't trade it because at a certain point in your life, there's some things that you know, and there's some things that you don't know. When you see that there's a stop sign in front of you, that's when you stop. You see? And so certain things had to germinate and had to come up in the industry and had to cross our paths for us to either say, now, are you all going to make that 4th album for Jive? Or are you going to keep getting jerked?
Yeah.
Right.
Now, what's it going to be? So it came to a point in time whereas, there was a stop sign in front of us.
And there was a 4th album we were supposed to give them.
So that's why I was saying
a wake-up call came about.
Are we going to give them the 4th?
Right.
Or are we just going to continue?
We chose to say no,
to get jerked.
And litigation came. Litigation, you can't do a damn thing. Everything's on freeze.
Yeah.
Now,
this insight that you now have, do you give this to other artists?
Yes.
Well,
okay.
Whatever we can help them at. Yeah, we know information costs. And it does cost. But I think as a community, you don't want to see another one go through what you went through.
Exactly.
Right.
You want to see that person that you gave this info to, you want to see that turn into a success story.
Right.
And they can look back and say, Jay, Sean, and Jock told me about this right here. I followed their lead, and here I am. We've told many of them, but the people also have a mind of their own.
I mean,
they're gonna do what they're gonna do.
They preach this own your masters, be independent thing, this, that, and the third. But back when y'all was out and active, that wasn't really the
the
language.
No,
yeah, wasn't the thing.
And so I just believe in speak when spoken to. If somebody is seeking, and you have a piece of the puzzle that they may need, then I'm gonna distribute it to them. I'm gonna give them, my experience. I'm gonna give them, the pros and the cons.
Yes,
that I'm aware of. You see what I'm saying?
And it's up to them to pick and choose.
And so
what they're gonna use.
Right.
Yeah, this day and age, if they're seeking, they would ask questions. So it's not cool just to be hanging around. You're wasting time like that. Ask questions so that you can continue to proceed with caution.
I feel like a lot of the younger artists don't want to ask questions because they feel like the older MCs are kind of like, I want to say hating on them, like
bitter.
Bitter,
and
yes,
I hate to say that because it's
like
not
the freedom.
All. Yeah, it's not all, but there are some that are bitter. But this is the thing that I would ask most artists from our era. What if this is your child coming to you? Would you be bitter towards your child? Because these are our youngins that are coming to us for information. If we don't give them what they need to know or give them at least a tip, we could blame ourselves for their failures.
Right.
And we can't keep that revolving door going around. It's time for Black businesses to come together full circle, and start, each one teach one, reach one.
Right.
It's got to be that way. If not, we're going to keep going through that revolving door. And guess what? There's no reason to be jealous because this person's going through the same thing you're going through.
Right.
We want to see them. We want to see our younger artists right now up and about and knowing what's going on.
Yeah. I would definitely say for young and old, you need old for counsel.
Young for war.
Great quote.
So when you have old for counsel, young for war, the only ones that I see in the industry that are exercising this are like jazz artists. The old make sure the youth are getting what they need, and then the youth that are coming up in the jazz arena are always paying homage to a Charlie Parker. They're always paying homage to a Miles Davis,
John Coltrane,
a Dizzy Gillespie,
yes,
a Joe Williams. You don't hear them, disrespecting and talking about that's the old school.
Oh, you old, you out the way. It's time for the new generation to do this.
You don't hear that. They have what they call respect, and they have dignity, and they have integrity. And this is what we need as well today. Because I look at it, if it's a young one out here that's getting it, then I feel that he should reach up to that old one and grab him to be a part of his equation.
Like,
because
help me.
Because he has a foundation that he's standing on, and the foundation that we are standing on is not our own foundation. No. Somebody made that foundation first for you to stand where you're standing at right now. So you should always have a hand reaching down to pull another one up.
Right.
Regardless if it's old school or even if it's one of your comrades of your peers.
Right. Yeah, because I feel like a lot of musicians these days, they don't do their research enough and look back at like the forefathers or the people that have done this before them to get that kind of insight.
Yes.
Right.
Now, how do y'all feel about today's music? Hip hop specifically. Like, do y'all listen? Like, do y'all?
Well, I mean, hip hop is true. Hip hop is hip hop.
But it's a lot of bullshit out here. Everything sounds the same.
Well, I'm not. Hip hop is hip hop.
Right.
I'm not gonna say that
It may not be our hip hop that we were doing.
Right. Definitely not.
right. And some people call it mumble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a long time. That was a stigma with down south artists.
Some people call it mumble, but I mean, listen, man.
Everybody got their own wave.
There's defected parts,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
and there are perfected parts.
Mm-hmm.
Things that have been perfected.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have some defected parts.
Mm-hmm.
So we just gotta still work out some nooks and some crannies
Mm-hmm.
when you talking about hip hop. Spit a 16,
Mm-hmm.
spit a 8,
Mm-hmm.
spit a 24,
Battles
and let's see if this
aren't what they used to be.
context is put in the right perspective.
Right.
Let us hear what he is saying or she is saying. We just want to hear them say something that will raise up the consciousness of the stupor that we as a people are in.
Right.
So that's why I said we need that old for counsel, the
Young for war.
Walk around calling others
Itches and oars.
You need your mouth washed out with some
Soap and water.
The Willie Lynch syndrome.
You're out of order.
Now pants sagging. Just about to kiss the ground. You 40 plus.
Say what?
You looking like homie the clown.
Now touchdown.
Now who wants to grab the rebound? You walk around with that Joe Frazier frown. You creep by on the other side of the street.
Say what?
You grew up together and you grind your teeth.
Why?
You look at me like you want to bring the heat.
If looks could kill, then I'll be buried 6 feet deep. But yes, y'all.
Amazing. That shit is amazing. I wish
appreciate
y'all
it.
watching this show.
We appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Have y'all been watching Versus?
I've been watching. I watched the last one.
I listened to my brother. He says he watched it. I didn't zoom in yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
You're not on it yet.
No, I'm not saying I'm not on it yet. I just didn't zoom in yet because like I listened to what Prince said years ago. Because I'm still trying to perfect this. I'm not too vain that I can't hear them.
Right.
But he said, listen to yourself. Hear yourself. And as you can listen to yourself and hear yourself, that's when you can come up with something differente. You won't sound like the masses, but you will sound like you.
Right.
Because the only one who I can really be is me.
Right.
And the only one you can really be
Is you.
Is you. You know.
Right.
That versus Kane and KRS-One.
Masterclass MCing.
Yes. Most people would say, "Oh man, who do you think won?"
Hip hop.
And I said, "Hip hop won."
Hip hop won.
Hip hop won. I said because this was a versus for young kids to go back to class to see how we did it. And some people say, "Well, who do you think won the battle?" Ain't no battle. This is not a battle, man. I said, listen, we had epic battles back in the day. This is just them doing their records, their best records from their catalog. That's all it is.
Right.
And it's entertaining the crowd. And the blessing is both of them get paid.
Basically.
They keep their money flowing.
What an outlet.
Yeah, we see what happened with Jada. You know, it seems like Jada caught like a second win. Well, not him himself, but like his career caught like a second win because everybody tuned into that.
Yes.
And they saw a masterclass. Like they saw actual MCing,
Yes,
bars, breath control, stage presence, all this.
Yes.
And, you know, Dipset, they came up there with gimmicks. And then I feel like the younger crowd kind of appreciated that more because they was like, I didn't know that he did that. I just thought, you know, if it's old and outdated, it's just whatever it is. But then they saw it live and they was like,
yes,
I can't believe what I'm seeing. And then I feel like if they did more of that, they would appreciate a lot of the older artists more. It was like, hey, it's really some hot shit back here. You just gotta look. You just gotta open up the CD case or you know MP3s.
Open it up, man.
I've heard people say, well, Jada reinvented himself. No, he didn't. This is what he's always done.
He been doing this.
He's himself
for like Jada's 20 years.
Jada's family's right from the terrace.
Oh,
he got family right up in the terrace.
Yeah,
the Cochrans.
One of his cousins rap, Brillo. Shout out to Brillo.
Yeah. So when you look at how he came in the game basically as a battle cat.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
when I say to people, I said, KRS-One's a battle cat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's a performer, but he's a battle cat. Not that Big Daddy Kane can't go, because that brother can go.
He
Mm-hmm.
can
We
go.
all know he can go.
Facts.
But he's more into entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you look at that verses, that's all the verses. It's a new way of entertaining, especially with this COVID in place.
Right.
It's a new way for our brothers and sisters to go get money and keep their money flowing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, while also keeping the people entertained.
Mm-hmm.
Big ups to them. Big ups to hip hop.
Big
Right.
ups to hip hop.
Now, y'all mentioned that fourth album that you were supposed to do for Jive. So when you
Mhm.
guys finally walk away, what was life like after Jive? Like, what did you guys do? What was the like? Now we're not signed. Are you trying to get a record deal again? Are you still making music? Like, what are y'all doing?
Jive helped, Barry Weiss and them helped to pay for the lawyers.
Get us up out of our contract.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he said, when you're ready, we'll be waiting for you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We just didn't feel safe anymore because you're on an island by yourself. And let me say this, because I know Sean feels the same way, Jock may feel the same way. Shout out to Mark and Rhonda for doing the business and the footwork to go get us the deal. We appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, other things happen that weren't so favorable.
Right.
But we also know that the record label had a lot to do with that just as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because if that's the case, why is it that everyone, I don't care who you are, they go through things with their record labels? And I'm you hate to make it a race thing, but there are more black artists going through it than whites.
100%.
Whole lot more. So this is why I go back to, listen, when you could help these young bucks out, and yes, our careers have helped these young bucks, you know, get to a place where they understand the business, yeah, then they should reach back.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not just saying reach back financially, but they should reach back and say, listen, thank you. At least just a thank you for paving the way, because we've always said, listen, groups like the Cold Crush, they paved the way for us. Fantastic Five, anyone that came before any one of us, they paved the way.
Mm-hmm.
And you were able to step on them and uplift yourself. There was no more of that getting dirty.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
It was like, okay, they're down in the mud. They're allowing us to step on them to reach higher.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we did for the younger generation. And they have to do that for the next generation to come. Don't just keep it to yourself. Y'all got your business minds right. Think.
Spread the love. Spread the love. You know, when we stopped, I'm not gonna say stopped, but when we went back into the shadow behind the closed door, you know, the writing doesn't stop.
No.
Because the writing is what keeps me and our sanity.
Right. Mm-hmm.
This keeps us going from getting so close to the edge. You'd be like right next to the brink of a pit of a fire, ready to just say, I'm done.
There were tears. Yeah.
It had to be, yeah.
Yeah.
And there are still quiet storms.
Yes.
In this dispensation of time. The God has just given us a great coping mechanism on how to deal with adversity. So we're here. I had to take up the second gift that the God has given me, which is cutting hair.
Right.
You know, I also have a degree in fashion merchandise.
Okay.
So, at the time, I said, Mom, I don't know what I'm going to do. She said, what do you mean? I said, well, you know, we're not making music right now no more. She said, well, I know what you're going to do. You're going to cut hair. I said, I don't want to cut no hair. She said, well, don't say that because God gave you
A gift. That's
some
right.
gifts.
Mm-hmm.
The first gift was music. Your second gift is cutting hair.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's what's taking care of his family.
that's what's taken care of.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't sit around and wait for some mystery God.
To drop something in your lap.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't happening.
No.
For
You know,
me, it
after
was.
prayer comes work.
That's right.
Right.
You know.
For me, it was me and Damon from 3 to Hardway, Triple C, went to audio engineering school.
Mm.
And we went to CMA, Center for Media Arts.
Okay.
So that was our hustle. But that hustle doesn't happen also with us without, we were going to school.
Mm.
My brother was helping to pay some of our bills to get through school.
Right. That's dope.
So there was always a brotherhood there. Not just because we were brothers, but I'm talking about with Triple C and them guys. There was always a brotherhood.
Mm.
It, with some members, I think it fell apart, and I don't know why. But you look at things like these awards that we received.
Mm.
This is not us giving ourselves anything. This is what the people want to give us.
Right.
You know?
Right.
This is
Right.
what the fans want to give us by saying thank you.
But that you deserve
That's
as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Most
we thank
definitely.
We thank you for that.
I
brother.
will never
Yeah.
ever say that we don't deserve
Mm-hmm.
what we got, because at the end of the day, we worked hard to get there.
Absolutely.
You know.
And the night that we got the keys, we heard from giants like Big Daddy Kane.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Jalil from
You know.
Houdini.
Houdini calls us.
Yeah.
You know.
Jal spoke to us, was on the phone with us at least with that weekend about what, 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Just
And
breathing into
he's
us.
one of those saying, I don't even have a key to the city, man. I'll trade my Grammy for a key to Brooklyn.
That's nuts.
You know. And so, you know, we just thank we thank him for the time that we had in the industry. And, you know, as an artist, you know, you're never done.
No.
Mm.
You could be in the shadows, but you're never done.
Mm.
You know, it's
Hip hop is a fraternity.
yeah, and when you're
Mhm.
ready,
Once you're in it, you're in it.
Mm.
right? And when
You are never forgotten.
Right.
And when you're ready, then you will shoot again.
Mm.
You know, and maybe the next time when you're ready, you won't fall
Mm.
like a shooting star falls.
Mm.
But this time you'll stay up there in the gravity and the light will be shining.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mhm.
And so I just thank God, like I said, for the gift that He's given me. Because like my brother said, I did, you know, help him and help aid him in a financial situation with school and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always given to my cousin Jockbox,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
you know. And so we always say if I get a piece of the pie and I'm successful, so are you.
One eat, we all eat.
You know, and so that's how it is. It's just like JB may not be present,
Mm.
but he's with us
Yes.
Right.
now.
Yes.
So, you know, after this is over, we'll give him a call out in Delaware.
Mm-hmm.
And, yo, Jock, we just did a podcast, man.
Right.
We wish you would have been there. So we're going to hold
Yes,
it down.
Definitely.
We're going to hold it down until he
Till you
gets
get back. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
back here.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna get back. He's gonna get back.
Definitely. Now, do you know Jock's mindset? Why y'all going through this whole thing?
Do we know it?
it's
Yeah, like, what's his mindset? Because I got y'all two perspectives. Like, do you know what he's
It
going
messed
through
him up.
mentally?
it messed him up. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
yeah.
He's the youngest,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
so it really tore him up, because when you see all this success,
You going from being a man to just
Yeah.
yes,
back home.
yes,
Yeah. And so this is why, you know, our patience is good. And plus we ain't going to leave him out in the desert because he's our first cousin.
cousin. That's
Right.
right.
You
Blood,
know,
that's
my
right.
mother and Jock's mother are sisters. And
Mhm.
so like, you know, we got him, you know,
Mhm.
when he's ready to come amongst, you know, the audience, then we'll be sitting here waiting in the cut,
Mm.
you know. But
I like that.
as far as what he's going through the same thing we going through.
Yeah.
We just know how to mask things a bit
Right.
different,
Mm.
Right.
and we know how to channel the madness
Mm.
Right.
so that it doesn't affect the core essence of us.
Mm.
Yes.
So we're able to do this because, you know, we know somebody
Mm.
and we met somebody,
And we thank God
you know.
Mm.
for having good women.
Right.
Right.
You know,
And
that's I'm gonna be very honest. That's everything. Having good wives
Mm-hmm.
yes.
is everything. Having your kids to have your back.
Mm-hmm.
Your
Right.
kids, to your kids, you can never do nothing wrong.
Never.
Right.
You know, so they gonna have your back.
And when I say we know somebody
Mm-hmm.
and we think that somebody who came in the person
Mm-hmm.
of the great God, Master
Farad Muhammad.
Fard Muhammad, and we thank him for the Christ, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and we thank him for that Jesus
Mm-hmm.
in the midst today in the person of the Honorable
Minister
Minister
Farrakhan.
Louis Farrakhan.
Mm-hmm.
This is what maintains and sustains us,
Yes.
so that we can continue to shine without being on 42nd Street.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
For us to continue to shine without being in Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
because the beacon of light is within oneself.
Right.
And once you find that beacon of light, this is why we continue to we're able to go through the fire and not get burnt.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So
Gotcha.
we got Shadrach, Meshach, and the Bendigo, but we were Shadrach, Jock, Meshach, Jade, and a bad Negro me.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is what we have here.
Mm-hmm.
And so after we go through this fire that we have been through, purification is around the corner.
100%. I like that. Now, do you guys ever get the itch to make new music?
Oh, we make new music.
It's in the midst right now.
It's in the midst right now.
We make new music.
Oh,
you know?
okay.
We got a few things
sure.
coming. We got the documentary that my man Jim Slice is working on with us.
So we finally getting that fourth album.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll be coming. No
Okay.
question about it.
Like sometime early 2022, or we
Right.
still like in like the.
Like we'll be dropping something.
Black Friday.
Be the will.
Oh shit!
Black
That's
Friday.
soon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So we look forward to that, and we're gonna continue to make the people clap.
Mm-hmm. Now, how's it sound? Is it is it more up tempo? Like, is Jay making the beats, or is like what's the?
Yeah, Jay's making the beat.
Yes.
Mm,
We all still right.
mm,
It's classic still.
okay.
It's classic with a new feel,
Mm,
new touch. I think people will love it.
mm,
I put a snippet on the gram, and everyone chimed in and said, "Dope." From young artists to old artists.
mm-hmm.
And then I took it down. I just wanted to get a pulse
Mm-hmm.
of what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
See if that name still ring bells a little bit.
Yes.
Still
Right.
ringing
Right.
bells.
Right.
And we just hope that when it does comes out, Bridgeport stand up.
Yes.
Connecticut.
Connecticut stand up.
Connecticut.
1,000%.
Connecticut stand up.
Hip hop stand up.
Stand up.
Even more so than anything. Streaming's good. But take $1 and go buy the single.
Mm-hmm. Definitely support.
Take $1 and go buy the single.
Mm-hmm.
Help us not so much to get back to where we were,
Mm-hmm.
because I still think we're there, but help us to be able to do other things also in the community for these kids coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So that if we do it, if you're supporting us, it's just not us doing it. That dollar helped.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right.
That dollar helped. They always say, once again, it takes a village to raise a child.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these kids are raising themselves.
Absolutely. No fault of their own.
Right.
But it's sad.
Yeah.
So we can expect new music at least by Black Friday.
Yes.
Album coming soon.
Mm-hmm. Documentary coming soon.
Documentary coming soon. Are you working with any Connecticut artists? Any friends that you have? Industry connects? Are we like? What's the?
Right now,
is it too early to tell? Because I don't want to spoil that.
it's too early to tell right now.
Gotcha.
But right now, we just focused on the first few tracks
Mm.
that we've put together. But we're open, very open to
Mm.
collabs.
Okay.
That's the one thing I say about the golden era versus this new era.
Mm.
And I don't knock the new era at all. But if you have an album of let's just say 12 to 15 songs, and you got 6, 7 features of class A top tier artists. Damn it, you should go platinum and double platinum and triple platinum and diamond. You should. But let's see, you have to at least see if you could stand on your own.
I came to hear you.
Right.
Yes. Right.
See if you could stand on your own. And I think most of them can stand on their own, but they take away from their own shine when they allow all these artists to come in and basically outshine them on their own shit.
Right. It happens way too often.
Yeah.
way too often.
That's the truth. That's the truth, man.
Now, my last question is, right, I had a question about a song, right? The song I Want to Be Like, did that ever hit the ears of Michael Jackson, Prince, or Bill Cosby?
That's hard to say.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure if it did hit. That was, I Want to Be Like was an awesome track to me.
Yeah.
I don't think it aged well with Bill, but I get you.
Yeah.
It's all right.
But who knew that, what happened with Bill was Bill.
Right.
Yeah, but we don't mean the bad stuff with Bill.
Nah.
We just mean like Bill.
But
other than that, great human being.
During that segment of time,
the man.
He had the masses of the people.
Yes.
Right.
Checking out that show every week.
He was America's father.
Right.
Could
do no wrong.
And Prince was, definitely a great example.
The God.
Yes.
MJ, the God.
The God.
Everybody was, wanting to be like them. One of those three.
One of those three.
I'm not saying that there wasn't others out there.
Yeah, but those are like the pinnacle.
Those right there was in your face.
Yes.
And
we can't believe everything the media says about people. Because once the media gets a hold of a certain thing, they blow it out the water.
Out the water.
And if all this is what you hear and see, you tend to say, well, this person said it. Yeah, but that person is keeping that going because bad news will always outshine good news.
Definitely.
So it's like you look at Prince, they made it to seem like, oh, he popping pills in it and he killed himself in his own elevator. Come on, that's fishy to me. Michael Jackson, yeah, he was tired. He said he was tired. But Michael Jackson also had something to say to the masses.
Right.
That he wanted to wake up. And guess what? When you have something to say to the masses, your people, they don't want that coming out.
Right.
When you look at Bill, it was a bigger picture.
Every time.
Bigger picture. You see this, you hear that, but then you have to say to yourself, man, look what's going on right now with COVID. Okay, if you don't take a shot and you this big time athlete or star, okay, you don't take the shot, we'll find ways to make you take it.
Or
to find ways to drag you down.
Or to make you look bad.
Yeah.
Affect your livelihood.
Yeah.
You can't play. You can't make money. You can't tour.
Exactly.
You can't go here. You can't fly. You can't. I don't think you can go overseas.
No. And if I just say to the people of today that are out there still doing it, take care of your money.
Definitely. So
that you don't have to feel like you're still a slave and you have to do this. You should be able to walk away. There are certain athletes, entertainers, all this they can walk away from the game. Someone asked me a question. You think Jay-Z or Beyonce could retire? No. People are too invested in them. Before they retire, they may offer. Sad to say. But this is what the black community deals with. These are our heroes coming up. This is what it is.
It is what it is at this point.
Yes.
Well, I want to tell you, brothers, it was a pleasure talking to you.
It was an honor
being
here, man.
It was a long time in the making. Everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
Glad I got to talk to you, brothers. You guys are appreciated. You guys are needed. Like, I don't know what hip hop would be without you. I don't know what the Connecticut
Appreciate you.
music scene would be without y'all.
Connecticut,
Stand up.
I want
Skinny
y'all
Boys
to,
loves you.
you know, be out here thriving for however many more years to come. Jack, we need to talk to you. You know, hope all is well with you, brother. And I appreciate y'all, man.
Appreciate
And
you,
I
brother.
love
Appreciate
y'all,
you. And let us say this once again. You know, we spoke on something earlier. Please, the gay community, please don't take anything. And I mean this. I mean this from the heart.
Nah.
Don't take anything to heart that we said, because at the end of the day, we're all out here trying to live.
Mhm.
You know, this isn't about getting the edge.
Right.
You know, it's about allowing people to be themselves. We respect y'all.
I don't.
Show us respect.
Yeah, I don't think you could cancel something from the 80s.
No.
It's like it's like, you
No.
know, it's certain things, you know, we were just talking about Bill, but whatever. But you know, it's just like certain things that were like acceptable or things that just actually like
Yes.
happened. Like that was a part of the
And
era.
we-
That was the culture.
Yeah.
That is what it is. It was
Mhm.
what it was. But you know, it's just the if you happen to ignore that and still continue to be, I guess, ignorant and still do those same things. But now
Shout.
it's like
And I mean
it's
shout
cool.
to our brother Dave Chappelle
Mm-hmm.
for being yourself.
Yeah.
Just being original.
Not breaking, not folding.
No.
Don't shiver, don't shake. Stood on his own too and said, hey, I stand by what I said. Y'all ain't gonna bully me.
No.
So I appreciate that, brother, as well. Let everybody know where they can find y'all on social media, where to find the new music when y'all drop it, you know, all that good stuff. Y'all got anything else to promote?
You can follow us on Instagram at _official_skinny_boys. Once again, on Instagram at _official_skinny_boys.
Yes.
We gotta take out the underscores. We gotta get y'all official, like just compact ass name. Like we need something just
We're gonna change it.
yeah,
change it.
just something compact.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you know,
Look forward to that documentary coming out.
now when's that? Does that have a date or like a roundabout or?
It doesn't have a concrete date, but you know, us and Jim Slice, we're getting it together.
Okay. All right, man. Good to hear. Good to hear. So, G, we good over there? All right. So, as the saying goes, one thing's for certain: we too much for these niggas and three much for these hoes. I go by the name of Domino.
Come on.
That's the Skinny Boys.
Peace.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we out of here.
We goes.
Peace.
Domino, motherfuckers, what's happening?
C'est tout.
Yeah, all right.